Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the author of a best-selling book. It's called Twisted Retribution. They're about to turn it into a movie. You're going to meet the award-winning filmmaker as well. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I'm so excited for this show because I've known Donna Arp Weitzman for a dozen years, and she's many times a best-selling author, but she took a radical departure from the stuff that she had written before when she wrote this book. It's called Twisted Retribution. She's in studio, and she called me the other day, and she says, not only am I in the top 0.5% on Amazon, but they're about to make this into a film. So I said, you have to come on the show, and we have to have the award-winning filmmaker in the studio as well. So Donna Arp Weitzman, a good friend, best-selling author, Johnathan Brownlee. He is with Torfoot Entertainment Group. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having us on. It's great to be here.
Awesome. All right, to set the stage for this, Donna, your first best-selling book was called Cinderella Has Cellulite.
And she still does. She still has cellulite.
And then after that, you wrote another 4 books.
I did.
But tell us about this book, because this is near and dear to your heart, and it's a departure.
It is. Twisted Retribution really was. It's a true story, and it's about Henry Lee Lucas, who is a serial killer. In fact, many say one of the worst serial killers ever in this country. But there's a lot of myth around Henry Lee Lucas. But one myth that is actually true is he killed a very good friend of my mother's in his siege of murders and was caught very shortly thereafter, a couple of years thereafter.
Okay, we're going to stay with you. We're going to put some video up of Henry Lee Lucas, and you probably remember this man's name because there
he is.
So many stories done on him, and I know I covered him as a newsman years ago. So he confessed to more than 600 murders.
He did.
And how many do we believe he committed?
Well, that, again, is a myth. Many think he killed less than 20. That's all they could prove. They actually, I think, charged him with 11 murders. But he liked to confess. He was a serial confessor.
Okay, Johnathan, let's bring you into this because you've known Donna for a long time.
I have.
You read the book, and you're instantly struck by the book?
Yeah, so I read the book originally around 5 years ago before this thing called the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And the book's been sitting on my coffee table for years. And I was courting Donna into, maybe letting us make a film out of this. And one of the things I loved about it is first of all, I've known Donna, and I'm like, how did this come out of her brain? It seems quite opposite of the Donna Arp Weitzman I know. But the tone of it is really quite interesting. I sort of compare it to a Coen Brothers-esque world, where the characters are very heightened. There's kind of a sickness in the comedy to it. So I think it could have a very, really, really broad audience. Plus, it's a Texas story, and I'm a Canadian transplanted here in Dallas, Texas, and which I love living here. And so I wanted to tell a Texas story.
And you said you courted her. So how many times did you approach her about making this a movie?
Well, it's usually over martinis with.
Well, girls have to be hard to get, I learned that from Cinderella.
Just don't tell her husband heard this, right? So, because no one's watching this, right? So, I think we had multiple lunches and multiple martinis, but
he had multiple martinis.
That's probably true.
I admit.
But she actually, most recently, when Donna wants to get something done, Donna gets it done. So I would say less than a month ago, Donna said, I think I'm ready to go do this. And I've said, let's go have lunch. And so we're off.
Yeah.
And it's set in a small town.
Yes.
It is.
We hope it's going to be filmed in the town where it happened. which is a little small town called, it's really right out of Nocona, Texas, in a little small town called Ringgold, Texas. And I grew up in that area.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've already talked to the mayor. The mayor's on board.
We talked to the mayor of Nocona, Texas, and he is all about us filming up there. He's a wonderful guy.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, films are a strange beast because oftentimes we'll shoot in areas that look like a certain location. So we're actually going. I've never been out there, so I also will be writing the screenplay for this based on the novel, and so I really need to go out and sort of touch, taste, smell it, meet the people, get a feel for the tone of the town, and that'll really help me when I bring it in and start clickety-clacking and making, at least the first draft of the screenplay.
One of the most interesting things I want to add to that is when I put on Facebook that this was going to be made into a film, we have a Facebook of my high school group and people that I went to school with, and that's not unusual, as you know. But I got so much information on Henry Lee Lucas I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of eerie and scary when you read some of the comments from the people who interacted with Henry Lee during that time in the little small town.
All right, I want to brag about you in the book cover. Let's go ahead and put this on the screen because, Donna, you had a contest.
I did. It was my publisher's idea. We generally, for all my books, hired someone to do the cover, and covers are very important in publishing, as you know. And my publisher said, this is such an interesting book. Why don't we send out to the libraries across the country and ask them, we'll pay them a certain amount of money, it wasn't much, if they have high school kids and college kids who want to send in potential covers. We got over 300 entries.
Wow.
And we chose this one, which we thought was perfect.
Absolutely brilliant. And Johnathan, I don't want to shortchange your career, but we're going to pull up your IMDb. And again,
This is only a 20-minute show, all right? So
Seinfeld, oh my goodness, Austin Powers, Batman and Robin. I mean, this goes on for miles. You've done a lot of stuff.
I'm old, Jeff. I'm just plain old. I've been very fortunate. I started as an actor on and off Broadway in New York, and then sort of migrated to film and television, and worked in New York and L.A. And as I said, I'm Canadian, and dual citizen actually, and so I've worked a lot in Vancouver and in television. I really started in television, was like you, right? So loved television, and then migrated into feature films in sort of the early 2000s.
Jeff, Jonathan, you are really old. I can see.
I know.
I cannot see. Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't it?
It's a little crazy.
All right.
You might be too old to do this film.
It's very possible.
Johnathan, you married up, as did her.
I did.
And your beautiful bride is sitting right off set. She convinced you to move to Texas, but that's a great move for you.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, when I first, when Ann and I started sort of cross-border dating, if you will, I was living in California, and would come to Texas, and I'd never actually been to Texas, but I'd written a screenplay called Chasing the Alamo, which we will make either later this year or early next year. Another Texas story, because I've always been fascinated by Texas, and I was a huge Davy Crockett fan. Kid in Toronto running around with a coonskin cap, not kind of weird. But yeah, I would, so I came here, and Anne thought we were going to move back to LA. She was hoping that would be, she'd always wanted to live in LA. And I came here and I met just amazing people like Ann and Steve Stodgill and others. And they're like, we really want to have, more filmmakers come here. How do we support you? And when someone in Dallas or Texas says they want to do something and support you, they really mean it. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about being here.
And Texas has never been hotter when it comes to making films. Taylor Sheridan, of course, is building a huge studio. What is it about Texas that's attracting so much interest?
Well, I think Texas has always had this sort of wildcatter mentality, right? Like, even if they don't understand our industry, people really want to learn. They want to do business. The door is open here. I always say if the American dream is still alive and well, it's sitting in the middle of Dallas, Texas. And so, Dallas and Fort Worth. Fort Worth has a great film industry. It really is an entrepreneurial spirit, as you know, being a serial entrepreneur, right? Yeah. So, and I think that's what's really interesting to people. And we haven't been very competitive over the years, and a lot of our industry sort of lives and dies on what we call tax incentives. And every state and every country has one. And the Texas legislature really did a great job this last time, and signed this amazing $1.5 billion deal over the next 10 years, which not only gives us a good incentive, but gives us a roadmap knowing it's not going to go away for at least 10 years.
All right. As long as we're talking about money and investment, let's go ahead and pull up Donna's pitch deck, because I think you guys are still out there recruiting people who might want to invest in this film. So tell us about why somebody would want to put some money behind this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people have these horror stories about sort of investing in film, and I think that's true in a lot of industries, and part of that is sometimes people just bet on the wrong teams. And so like any industry, if you sort of take the word film out of it and just say we make bicycles, we make bicycles, we have a factory that makes bicycles, and you have to make the bicycle at, the right price. And so it's also a global industry. So for instance, we have a film called The Yeti, which will premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival next month, having its first industry screening. And that film was pre-sold. So we sold our domestic rights, which are Canada and the US, and then our foreign sales agent goes out and they sell all 39 of these other territories. So just like ordering bicycles, these countries, they pre-order, and then we take that and we invoice finance that, if you will. And so it's more of a debt than an equity deal, if you will.
And Donna, you're just a small town Texas girl. This whole
5 generations.
This whole filmmaking thing is new to you.
Well, semi-new. When I wrote Cinderella Has Cellulite, of course, it's with Innovative Artists out in Hollywood. And I have an agent out there. And it was a harrowing experience because when you sit in the conference room and a bigger star walks by or somebody of note, they all turn and look at them and not you.
Right.
It's just kind of like, okay, remember, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So it's a hard business. It's a difficult industry.
And Donna, anytime they're taking a book and turning it into a movie, you and Johnathan are close friends, so I know you'll work closely on this together. What is that process like? I'd like you both to kind of...
Well, actually, people ask me that. That's the most asked question I have had since I started telling people we're going to have a film. And they say, how much input do you have? And I say very little, because I really want very little. It's not my film. It's my book.
Yes.
He's the expert in film writing.
Yeah.
Talk more about that, Johnathan.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things about collaborating with people is, making a film is a harrowing experience, and it's multiple years, and you have to really like the people that you're working with, because this will be 2, 3, 4 years in the making, from the time we write the script till we produce it, till we launch it, and then subsequent with windows, meaning we'll have a theatrical release, and then it'll go streaming, and then television in the foreign market. So
And Broadway.
And then Broadway, yeah, it'll be made into a musical, clearly. So
Watch out, Angelina Jolie.
we
It looks like her.
we kind of have this, I don't know if I can say, we kind of have this no asshole approach. So, right, where we just, you have to be in the room with people that you like and you enjoy working with, because it is very, very tough, especially when you're on set and you're working 18-hour days in what we call the factory. So Donna has given us, this wonderful, this great roadmap, if you will, and it's our job to take this and put it in something that we can make a film at.
Well, and Jonathan's the expert in that. I try not to do what I'm not good at. And so I say, I think he really gets it.
Yes.
He's read the book more than I have. So he probably knows it better than I do. So I think his script will be interesting. When Cinderella Has Cellulite was written into 2 different scripts, I didn't really like either one because it's a humor book, and I didn't think it caught the humor. But this one's a different story.
Johnathan, when you're writing a screenplay, are you imagining the actors and actresses that would play the role, or what's that process look like?
Yes, sometimes that's true. Sometimes you write for specific, your dream actor that might be right for this, or a type. Oftentimes, I think you asked me before as well, when I first read the book, I read the book just for enjoyment, right? And do I like the story? Do I like the world? And that's really what gets you interested. And then the subsequent readings, you do start to think visually. I do. I could see this as a movie on the first reading. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you write for specific people, sometimes you don't, but ultimately, we bring in our partners. Ross Meyerson, who's my partner at Torford Entertainment Group, just finished casting the new Dexter series. And so he's been, in this industry as long as I have, and has these amazing relationships. So I'm able to kind of offload my vision for who's the sort of archetype of this character.
Yes.
Sarah Sears is our, amazing female vigilante in this, which also gives the book a really interesting tone, because oftentimes it's male characters. And I think there's something really interesting about having, a female from a small town who really We call it having Jesus, as her co-pilot, and really has this really sort of incredible thought process for going out and trying to find these serial killers and cleaning up her town. So it's really interesting.
And at the same time, Sarah's an abused woman. Her husband's abusive to her, and she does not want to leave him. So it's a very complex. But these characters are real. Many of them I know.
Well, you were telling me before the show that it was exhausting writing the book. It was physically taxing on you.
Yes, mentally for sure. I think it just was revisiting all of those sins. There were so many that Henry Lee, and Henry Lee's partner was Otis Toole, who was cast as the killer of the America's Most Wanted, the little boy.
Yes.
I think it was Adam.
Yeah, Adam Walsh.
Adam Walsh,
yeah.
Thank you. Adam Walsh. And so there's a big part of the book that is Henry Lee and Otis Toole together.
Wow.
And they were really, really evil characters.
I want to ask you both this question. When you're writing, do you know when you have a hit? Because I have to imagine, Paul McCartney in the 60s writes Yesterday. Did he know he had an iconic song as he's writing it? Donna, when you're writing this book, are you already imagining Amazon and movies?
Absolutely not. My first book, I have big goals. My first book was to sell 1,300 copies. That would repay anything I paid out for the book. I sold that in the first week. So Cinderella sold over 100,000 copies now.
Wow.
This one's nearing that. And no, I just write because I love it.
Johnathan, same question.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, especially when you're writing from good source material, you're already, are sort of given a gift. So that really does help kickstart it a little bit, which is really important. But I think as you start to dig in, I sort of look at it as if I sit down and then I've been writing for 10 hours and I forgot I was writing for 10 hours, then I know I'm inside the story and there's something special there.
Wow, that's so exciting. So we're going to show a page off of Jonathan's Coming Soon website, and we're going to scroll down because you've got a lot of stuff in the works, don't you?
We do. And we like the Torfoot Entertainment Group, we like to say we're genre agnostic in the sense that, we do everything from horror, sci-fi, thriller, true crimes, westerns, Hallmark Christmas films. That's kind of we sort of have this thing, we call it, one for the meal and one for the real. So it's like, it's like the ones for the meal seem to be more and more often. But that's kind of our business model. Those types of films, in the indie world, the sort of $1 to $5 million films are sort of where we live a lot of the time. We make them quickly, efficiently, and they sell really well. Kind of like, a book like Twisted Retribution. It's something that a lot of people want to read, and in our case, a lot of people want to see. And as I mentioned, we just finished The Yeti, which we shot in Buffalo, New York. It was in upstate New York. It was a great experience, great cast and crew up there, and that launches next month. And now we're on to something else.
Outstanding. Okay, we got about 2 minutes left. So one, and ask when you guys accept the Academy Award for Best Picture, don't forget the little guy.
Okay, all right.
The guy
That's fair. That's fair.
gave you the first interview.
We'd like to thank Jeff Crilley. Big show. Yeah.
So, thank your wife first.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's right. And Herb. That's right.
Well, so in the last couple minutes, final thoughts. We'll start with you, Johnathan, and give Donna the final word.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having us on the show. Really appreciate it. We look forward to sharing more updates with you as we get along on this. But I encourage anyone in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or Texas, if they're interested in being a part, and we open the doors. We don't close our sets off. If people want to come and sit and be bored watching what we're doing, they're welcome to that. And, we really look forward to our industry growing more and for people to see, how we make films like Twisted Retribution.
Beautiful. Donna, final word.
Well, I'll just say in my lifetime in a very, very small town, actually on a farm out of a very, very small town, I would have never dreamed that I would have been able to tell a story and bring in characters that I knew and have this. I mean, I just feel totally blessed and blessed to meet Johnathan many years ago and blessed to have you. So, but it's been a very interesting experiment and a very interesting project, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Outstanding. Okay, we're going to end with the Amazon page so you can buy this best-selling book, and then stay tuned for the film coming to a theater near you. Guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having
You
us.
bet.
Thanks for having us.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.